Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in this vast world you may or may not happen to be. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayers Live, page by page reading and commentary of the modern English version of the Bible. So I hope all of you had a nice, relaxing weekend. I hope that whatever's going on in your life, you are able to find some level of peace this weekend. I have quite a bit going on right now, but this was a weekend of tying up some loose ends, engaging in a bit of self care for my own well being, and just gearing my mind to be as optimistic as possible, really. But tonight we're going to go into chapter 23 of the book of Joshua. And this is a relatively short chapter, and tomorrow will be chapter 24 of the book of Joshua. And what I'm thinking I'll do tomorrow is maybe on my lunch break, I'll read the final book of Joshua. And then in the evening, I'll do the video presentation that I've been talking about throughout the book of Joshua, showcasing and explaining some of the maps in regards to the locations that are discussed in the book of Joshua. Because I felt from the beginning of this particular area of the Bible that people might need some sort of a visual accompaniment in order to understand what's said. So that's what I will provide. So let's go ahead and get started with chapter 23. It's titled Joshua's Charge to the Leaders. A long time later, after the Lord had given Israel rest from all their enemies around them, Joshua was old and advanced in years. Joshua called for all Israel, their elders, clan heads, judges, and officials, and said to them, I am old and advanced in years. You have seen all that the Lord your God did to all these people before you. For it is the Lord your God who has waged war for you. Behold, I have allotted to you as an inheritance the land of these peoples who remain, along with the land of the peoples whom I defeated, from the Jordan to the Mediterranean Sea in the west. The Lord your God will drive them out and dispossess them from before you, and you will inherit their land, as the Lord your God told you. And that's inheritance, both physical and energetic, or spiritual, or even intellectual. That is what, from my perspective, the book of Joshua really is all about. And there's many of us who that's a part of our lives, whether you're planning out who you want to leave your earthly things to, or if you're the recipient of somebody who made plans that you will benefit from. Um, that's really what the book of Joshua is about, but it also does outline the interconnectedness of the various tribes and families of Israel in these times. And as I discussed in an earlier book of Joshua, it would be interesting if we could genetically trace back people today directly to some of these people back then. I'm sure that with all the DNA testing, some people actually have embarked on that project. I'm positive of it. But I am specifically curious about how many of the descendants of the Levites or the Levites um, are in the entertainment industry today, because the Levites were the group that maintained the Temple of Meeting, and they often did become musicians and speakers and even politicians. So, just something to think about. Anyway, let's continue. Now be very strong to observe and enact all that is written in the book of the law of Moses, so that you do not deviate from it to the right or the left. Do not assimilate with these people remaining among you. Do not invoke the names of their gods, nor swear by, serve, or worship them. Instead, cling to the Lord your God, as you have done until today. For the Lord has dispossessed before you great and mighty peoples, and as for you, not a single man has been able to stand against you until today. One man from among you can make 1,000 flee, for it is the Lord your God who wages war for you, as he told you. Now be careful, therefore, to love the Lord your God. For if you should turn and cling to the remainder of these people who are left with you, and you intermarry and assimilate with them, and they with you, know for certain that the Lord your God will no longer drive out these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps for you, a whip on your sides and thorns in your eyes, until you perish from off this good ground that the Lord your God has given you. So, in other words, these people are being told essentially to practice separatism, which is according to their beliefs at the time. But it's interesting how a certain level of separatist mentality is starting to permeate today's society, often for the wrong reasons, but maybe sometimes for the right reasons. I don't really know. I have extensive thoughts on that element of life that I'll talk about, I'm sure one day, but not in this live stream. Now I am going the way of the earth. You know in all your hearts and souls that not a single word has failed out of all the good things that the Lord your God has said concerning you. All came true for you. Not a single word among them failed. So just as every good thing that the Lord your God said to you came to be, even so the Lord can bring every bad thing upon you until he has destroyed you from this good land that the Lord your God gave you. If you break the covenant of the Lord your God that he commanded you, and go and serve other gods and worship them, the anger of the Lord will burn against you, and you will quickly perish from the good land that he gave you. So, in other words, don't break the covenant of the Lord. Don't do it, especially if you've been commanded directly by God not to break it. But I guess too many people were breaking it, which is why God sent his only son, Jesus Christ, to die for us. But we're not in the New Testament yet. We are still in the Old Testament. And we have a long way to go. So again, tomorrow is going to be the final chapter of the book of Joshua, chapter 24. Then I will do the map presentation of the regions discussed in the book of Joshua. And then after that, we go into the book of Judges. So stick with me, folks. I'm trying to stay on top of this page by page reading of the Bible. And it helps me get through my weeks to do this. It really does. So take care. Have a good night. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.